This is the video for a question that a student submitted to my website about percents. The question is, 45 is what percent of 90? Make sure you see that an equivalent question is what percent of 90 is 45. Sometimes you'll see the question written the first way and sometimes the second way. Make sure that you see that it's the exact same question. Okay, there are two ways to solve this question. One method is using a proportion and one is using an equation. Let's take a look at both methods because you may be asked to use one instead of the other. Okay, here's how we do it using a proportion. I'm going to write 45 over 90. What we're basically doing is a comparison of the number 45 to the number 90. And I'm going to set that equal to x over 100. Remember that a percent by definition means over 100. So the way to read this, the way to think about it is 45 is to 90 just as what is to 100. And the answer to that what, the answer to x, will be our percent. It'll be the answer to the question. Of course, to solve a proportion, we cross multiply. Skipping a few steps for the basic arithmetic, we get 4,500 equals 90x. Divide each side by 90. And again, skipping some basic arithmetic, we get x equals 50. Now in this case, 50 is actually our answer. Because it's 50 over 100, by definition percent is over 100, so the answer is 50%. Okay, let's take a look at method 2, using an equation. To do this, the best thing to do is look at the first version of this question. 45 is what percent of 90? Look at that and just translate it into mathematical symbols. So I'll start with 45. The word is equals. What percent? We don't know what percent it is, so let's call it x, of 90. Now whenever you see the word of in between two values, it means to multiply. So I'll put my multiplication dot and then 90. Now from here, this is actually pretty easy. All we want to isolate x to get it by itself. So I'll divide this side by 90 and this side by 90. And we're left with, if we actually do 45 divided by 90, we can either do it using long division or we can do it on a calculator. We get x equals 0.5. Now we have to be careful. This is not our answer. This is the answer as a decimal. Recall that to convert a decimal to a percent, we have to multiply it by 100, or equivalently, move the decimal 2 places to the right. So our answer to the question is 50% using this method. Okay, make sure that you fully understand both methods. It's two equivalent ways of solving the problem. Make sure that you see that they're basically the same thing, we're just doing it a little bit differently. But for the most part, it's basically the exact same thing that we're computing.